Good afternoon, Cam Davy Crockett.
I'm Zeph.
And I'm Hayden.
And I'm Jeff.
And welcome to the
Camp Davy Chronicles.
Yeah. Week 3.
Yes, that's the week we're on.
It's exciting.
And you know, we have a lot of interesting characters on camp staff. We've interviewed some of them, but I don't know that any of them are as character as Jeff Stremel.
That's a really kind way to say that.
But enough about him.
Forget it. We don't actually want to interview him. He's just here to boost our views.
Will he do that?
You might be disappointed.
I don't know. Ethan's episode got a lot of views on the YouTube, which may be partially because it didn't go up on anywhere else.
Yeah, YouTube well outdid Spotify and anything else this past episode.
Yeah. We did accidentally kind of forget to put up the audio version of the week 2 episode, and there were technical difficulties in trying to upload it when we did remember. And so it'll be up there eventually by the time this one's up.
Yeah,
hopefully.
a 2-episode special all in a weekend.
Yeah.
So it'll be fun.
For you Spotify only listeners, you get double the fun.
Yeah, but it could be a blessing in disguise.
Mm-hmm.
Blessing in disguise.
Blessing in the sky.
Because it just pushes people to watch YouTube.
Yeah, maybe.
So Jeff, who are you? And what do you do here at camp?
Well, I've been at camp now for 3 years. This is my 3rd year. I work in the shooting sports. I'm a shotgun and riflery instructor. I help out with cowboy action and archery and other duties as assigned, which is a big part of anyone working at camp. Everybody's got to pitch in doing what's needed.
Yeah. So what is your official title?
Do I have one?
Yeah.
Assistant shooting sports guy. Well, judging by what the campers say, it's the range guy.
Yeah, that seems to be whatever you're teaching at the time. I walked in the training post to get a slushie, and I walked in and there was this youth sitting there, and he goes, "Hey, it's the shotgun guy," and I was like, "I have a name." And
I don't mind being the range guy. It's kind of a cool name.
But yeah, you're the assistant shooting sports director, soon to be, hopefully, the real deal.
What's the real deal?
The shooting sports director. That's the real thing. Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
I'm leaving. I'm out.
What?
I'm never coming back. He's gonna replace me on the podcast as well.
Oh, great! No one told me this.
Yeah, this is why we brought him on, is to get him used to it.
So it's like, oh, you're making my life miserable.
No, but for anybody who's not met Jeff, because we do kind of hide over at the range a lot, he's a fairly funny guy a lot of the times. He always starts the summer kind of laid back, and then he just gets like even funnier throughout the summer. It's weird. I think we rub off on him a little bit, and so I think it's important to tell about what you do in the off season to understand who you are.
Well, I'm retired from the military, so I was in the Air Force for 27 years, and during the school year, I teach algebra 2 at a small Christian high school. So I do that 2 days a week. We support like homeschool families.
Yeah. And so he's a fairly smart individual who shouldn't be on shooting sports with us. Because shooting sports has notoriously not been the smartest group of people. And so to have somebody that's like a teacher who's smart, we've done that a lot this year because we've had Chip on shooting sports, who is
has a doctorate in physics.
Yeah. And then we've got Jeff, who's like really smart.
Man.
Jeff, you don't have a doctorate?
No.
We can say you do, though.
I have a master's in aeronautical science.
Oh, that's close enough.
I know it's far different than a doctorate.
Well, I didn't know that about you, Jeff. That you were smart.
It wasn't readily apparent. Judging by that look on your face, I didn't guess that.
Like Hayden said, I think he might rub off on you a bit too much.
Yeah. Well, I told Chip and Jeff, because they've got this really big problem that they're not lazy. And so I told them at the beginning of this
thing for shooting sports.
Yeah, I told them at the beginning of the summer that my goal this summer was to make them more lazy. Oh. And it has so far not worked. So, but that's my goal. I'm working on it. I've worked fairly hard. And it just turns out that I get lazier and they get not lazier.
No, well.
So, but yeah.
So what have y'all been up to this week in particular?
This week?
Yeah, week 3.
Trying to stay hydrated. It's been very warm.
It's true, it has been.
But other than that, we've had large classes in both shotgun and riflery. I'm not sure how many people they had in archery. I think that was pretty crowded too.
Yeah, almost all full, which is great. And so far, I think this is the first year that we've had an almost 100% success rate on all our merit badges. I think we had 2 youth that didn't get archery week 1. But other than that, everybody has qualified for every merit badge.
Wow. That's pretty impressive.
Well, I mean, like all shooting sports merit badges, not every merit badge.
Yeah. Every merit badge has been complete the whole summer.
No, that is not true.
Emergency preparedness, camping, complete. No, not really.
Some of them had to go all the way till the end and really focus hard, but they did it. And that's, I think, a testament to you focus on something and you work hard at it and you can get it done. Yeah,
it always fascinates me with shooting sports how for an entire week they can just get up there and they can shoot terribly, but it seems like that last hour of like, hey, you really got to do it. They really focus in and they really like try to do it. And not that they're not trying, but they don't try as hard. And then it's when the time crunch, and then you can get out there and do great.
Well, a lot of people will start out the week saying you try and correct something they're doing with their form or just the way they're approaching it, and they'll say, "Oh, but I like to do it this way." and when they say that, what I hear is, "Well, I don't want to get any better," because I've been a shooting instructor for 10 years, so I know a few things about it. So.
Guys, here's a pro tip: when you're in a shooting sports class and the instructors give you advice, they're probably right.
It's probably true in most of the classes.
Yeah, I don't know about it.
At least here.
But yeah, I always find that fascinating. And it's fascinating that people who have never shot before can come up there and do amazing because they don't know how to do it wrong.
Right. They haven't established those bad habits. Yeah. That's absolutely true.
And so I've always enjoyed that. When I ask, because the first thing I ask is the first person that comes up there and they start shooting, have you done this before? Mm-hmm. And you can always know, like, right off the bat, like, okay, they're going to qualify today. Mm-hmm. Or, okay, well, we're going to be here for all week. So, but everybody, so far, we've not had too many problems like people qualifying. They've all done pretty good.
Oh, okay. Too many problems. Okay, gotcha.
Yep, I'm still unqualified.
I thought you were saying that them qualifying was a problem.
Yep.
Those pesky kids completing their merit badges. How dare they?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of merit badges, we had a lot of classes having to be kind of shuffled around this week with who was teaching them because we had a few staff that weren't with us this week for various reasons. And so, like, Doc Ronnie taught orienteering and sign signals and codes and cycling. Dale almost taught cycling one day, which was going to be really fun, but he ended up having to deal with something else.
We could have all went and taken that class. That'd have been fun class.
Yeah, I wanted to. Also,
I taught golf one day.
Jeff taught golf one day. That's true. I taught chess one day. JD taught Scouting Heritage one day with Doran.
Yeah.
Which, if you don't know Doran, he's definitely a good person to interview for Scouting Heritage.
Yeah, Scouting Heritage is one of the merit badges that is on in shooting sports because, that makes sense. And so I went down to check on them just to, make sure that they were doing all right. And I walk in and Doran's just like, "Oh, I hate them pesky raccoons." Like, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'll just leave.
But do you ever know what Doran is talking about?
Well, he was talking about the pesky raccoons.
Fair.
And so I thought that was funny.
But, JD I was also teaching a class at the same time, and so I wasn't able to sit in. But if I could, I would have. JD pulled up. I taught chess right before at the same spot, and JD pulled up with Doran and said, "This is going to be the most entertaining Scouting Heritage class of all time." And I'm pretty sure he was right.
Yeah. Well, I think the only thing that could have topped that was I heard that JD taught sign signals and codes.
Oh, yeah, he did.
And so one of the requirements is to teach an older person or a person who doesn't know about emojis or emoticons what they are. And so he also took Doran with him to to have a bunch of young scouts teach Doran what an emoji was.
Of course, JD himself didn't even know the difference between emoticon and emoji.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
They're different?
Yeah.
We're about to get a merit badge requirement.
Emoticon is like where you're using different text symbols to make a face. Like if you put a colon in parenthesis for a smiley face.
Okay.
And then an emoji is like the pre-designed images that go up.
Yeah, a colon in a parentheses would be a wink face.
No, that would be a semicolon.
No.
A semicolon is.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, two. Okay,
yeah,
close enough.
Anyway, there you go. Merit badge requirement. You can sign signals.
Well, no,
and codes.
we taught them.
Yeah,
they didn't teach them.
I'm just saying, if you just learned that, you can now explain it to a merit badge counselor and get sign signals and codes requirement 9 something. I think I don't know. Anyway, figure it out. You can get the merit badge. You can work on it. It's a good one.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. You were going to almost teach cycling at one point.
If needed.
Yeah. That was going to be fun.
It's like riding a bicycle, right?
Yeah.
That is the main topic of cycling merit badge, for sure.
And then I'm trying to think what else. Earl and Randy was going to teach orienteering, which was going to be an interesting class.
Which they did stay there for the class. Doc Ronnie did end up going up there to take the lead, but Earl and Randy stayed there the whole time to, I don't know, assist.
We did have an incident. I wanted to talk about this when we were talking about stuff that happened in the week. Had an incident involving a snake and me.
Oh.
So up at the range, we have a range stake named Charlie. He's a pretty cool guy. He just hangs out. He doesn't bother anybody. But
he's at the rifle range, right?
Well, he travels. He travels to all 3 of the ranges. Well,
right.
all 4 now. I've never seen him in cowboy action.
Interesting. Are you sure it's the same one?
Nope.
Okay.
But it's better if I think it's the same one.
Okay.
And it's not like he has a name tag.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we tried to put one on it and it didn't work. It didn't stay. So anyways, we have gun cases that all of our guns stay in. And the top handle of these are black. Okay, right? And so they were sitting there. And so I go to open up the rifle range. And I'm sitting there and I'm talking to a scout. And I'm not really paying attention to what I'm doing because it's just force of habit to grab the handle, pull the gun case out. And so I reach over and I grab something that I think's the handle. And it's squishy. And I'm like, what in the world is this? And so I turn around and I'm like face to face holding Charlie.
Oh my goodness.
Which is about a 4-foot black snake.
Yeah. But he's chill. And so he didn't do anything.
Wow.
But I let out, like I said, what I describe as the most manly scream I've ever screamed. Okay. And threw him back down.
and then he wasn't chill.
No, he didn't. He really didn't care.
Really?
I ran out of the room. And then my merit badge class made fun of me for like 30 minutes.
Okay.
But no, he just slithered along and left.
You threw him and he was just like, eh.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Charlie is the calmest snake ever.
Wow. I mean, you really
He'll pop up on you, though. He'll scare you.
Well, clearly. You really never know what you're going to get with black rat snakes because they can be very aggressive.
Right. This one's
but they can also apparently be like the most nonchalant.
I think it's because he's up there. Because I mean, he's been up there for like years.
Yeah. And
so, like I said, I don't like you said. I don't think it's the same one, but maybe from the same family, and they're just like, hey, these guys are cool. And
I mean, it could have been there a few years.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know exactly how long they lived, but
I don't either. But I mean, he's been there for at least as long, or a black snake has been at the ranges for at least as long as like Mike can remember, which is like 100 years.
Oh, that's probably not the same one.
But yeah, he's always been chill. It just kind of pops up, and we don't have a big mouse problem either.
Oh yeah,
so that's nice.
That's a good advantage.
So,
and he's left the frog alone that lives in there.
Yeah, that's true. We do have a frog that lives there too.
In the closet.
They're just friends. Man, you may as well start teaching reptile and amphibian study at the ranges too.
That's true. We do have a reptile and an amphibian.
Yeah, right there. Check the requirement.
Yep. Now we just got to go teach them emojis.
The whole program will just be at the ranges next year.
Oh man.
Hayden is going to be essentially the program director.
Yeah, no.
Because he'll be overall.
I'll be a program director.
Yeah. Anyway, my over at ecology, where we also have a snake that is like a domestic snake, Amelia, the corn snake.
You mean Scott?
Yeah, Scott, the corn snake. No, the guy that provides her for us, his name's Scott. But anyway, that's yeah. But Amelia ate a mouse this week and also shed her skin off overnight in one piece, and I was really proud of her. Because last year when she shed, it was in like 10 pieces, and it took her like 3 days. So
she's learning.
Yeah,
getting better. How old is that snake?
I don't know.
Yeah, at least 2 years old.
Yeah, at least. Yeah, that is the number one question that I get asked about her, and I still haven't texted the guy to ask.
Well, I just think it's funny. When you first went to get the snake, Dale asked you what was its name, and you turned around and you said Scott.
Yeah.
Dale was asking what the snake's name was, and he said the name of the guy who was bringing him the snake, and we were like, "Oh, that's a weird name for a snake."
That'd be kind of a cool name for a snake.
Scott.
Why do snakes have names? It's not like they come when you call them.
That's true.
That's true. They can't even hear.
Yeah. Oh, they can't taste the words.
Nope. They can't.
Oh, man.
Anyway. Yep. What else happened this week? Troop 240 was here.
That's true.
And Troop 360 also.
That's true.
Which my sister is in now.
2 of the best troops of the Rotan. The Grey Rotan.
Yeah. I think they're the only 2. But
that makes them the best.
They're pretty good troops, though.
I'm trying to think. I had like 4 or 5 stories. I can't remember now.
4 or 5. You got to write things down.
Yeah,
Hayden.
well, that's, Is there anything interesting that happened to you over the week of the past?
Over the past week?
Yep.
It was a pretty normal week, actually.
That's true.
That's boring. Make something up. There was an alien invasion.
We did talk about an alien invasion on the rifle range the other day.
What?
Yeah. We were talking about that because we were teaching our merit badge class, and one of the scouts got into what ifs. And then I thought it was you that brought it up. Mm-hmm. Said, well, what if an alien comes down and abducts you?
Oh, is this for the safety requirements?
Yeah.
Like, identify the hazards that could occur on a rifle range. Oh, what if there's aliens?
Yeah. And so then we spent like 15 minutes talking about aliens.
Only the most productive.
Well, yeah, you got to keep it interesting somehow.
Absolutely.
So we basically narrowed it down to if somebody gets abducted by an alien, we're not coming to save them, and they should tell the aliens to not come back.
That's probably fair.
So it's a sacrifice.
Yeah.
But
well, at the risk of spending half the episode on volleyball again, we did win volleyball again.
That is true. It was not as close as last week. They won the first game. This is the first time that in this summer that we've played 3 games. Mm-hmm. They won the first game, and then they lost the second 2 games, and we won the second 2 games.
That is how losing and winning works.
Well, I was going to say that, but we played really well.
Yeah, I was proud of you.
Yeah, I was proud.
I think this was the most exciting one as a spectator that we've had.
Because it was actually a competition on both sides.
Yeah.
I told the Scoutmasters when we first got there that I was rooting for them.
Yeah.
And they didn't believe me. And then like halfway through I was cheering for them. But they did not pull through.
It was also the first time in 3 years of commentating that I've actually kept score correctly. And because our official scorekeeper, Mike Wolf, has not been down there the last couple weeks.
Has sadly passed on from volleyball.
Yeah. He's still alive. But he wasn't down there last week, and the score was lost track of.
Yeah, really bad.
So then this week, he was also not there, and so I noticed that at the beginning, I was like, okay, someone's got to keep track of score. And epic music played in my mind as I suited up for the large task of trying to keep
counting to 21.
Yeah.
Twice.
And I managed it.
Yeah.
I was so proud of myself.
Yeah, I was proud of somebody as well. I assumed that it was a group effort between you and Ethan.
I mean, well, they were helping because they kept repeating things but yeah. Ethan and Langles.
Yeah, because when I was there, I was trying to keep score until I got in the game, but then when I got in the game, it just went away.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. Yeah. It happens.
So, but yeah, no, it was a really good game. I was proud of us. I was proud of the Scoutmasters. Scoutmasters really did well as well. Because there was actual competition, which is good. I think the guy summed it up the best. I can't remember his name, but he said, "Hey, I'm 60 years old and I still kept up with y'all." Yeah, I was like, "That's true, I guess."
Yeah. Speaking of Scoutmasters doing well, the winning entry of the Dutch oven cook-off this week was maple bacon doughnuts.
Oh yeah,
from I forgot what troop, but they did a really good job, and they
should have gone there.
They got a ribbon for it.
Who would have known that you should put bacon on donuts?
And who would have known that you can make donuts in a Dutch oven too?
Yeah,
I mean, you can make anything in a Dutch oven, so it's
yeah,
not that
it's basically an
surprising,
oven.
but it's still cool.
Yeah, but it was really cool. Now I do have to say because there's 2 entries. The other one was a peach or pineapple or some fruit cobbler. It would have been really good, but the person who entered it was a little undercooked, and by a little undercooked, I mean I'm not sure that it was cooked at all.
Well, it was warm.
Yeah, I think I'm 90% sure they took the 85 degrees for 400 minutes approach.
It still tasted good.
Yeah.
I liked it.
And no, I'm saying that it was good, but it would have been a whole lot better if it was cooked. But like both entries were good. So far, there's not been a bad entry.
There rarely is.
Yeah.
It's a Dutch oven cook-off with Scoutmasters. I mean, they're typically pretty hard to judge. It all comes down to just what we're feeling like tastes yummy that day.
Yeah. I'm fully unbiased. I only eat what's good.
Well, Jeff, you've been a little quiet back there in the corner.
It's hard to get a word in edgewise.
That's fair, but we really want this episode to be about you, our guest. Well, really, it's about the Scouts.
Yeah, earlier you said, well, enough about him.
Yeah. That's why I haven't been talking.
I was good with that.
No, it kind of is about you. You're the whole marketing ploy to get more clicks is having a new person, because otherwise it's just me and Hayden talking every week, and people get bored. So, Jeff, in the interest of keeping this podcast alive, we're going to ask you some questions.
Okay.
And the first one is, what are you doing here?
What am I doing here?
Specifically at Boy Scout. Well, I mean, Scouts of America. Camp Davy Crockett.
Camp Davy Crockett.
This place. Yeah, wherever you are.
Well, 3 years ago, I was shooting with a friend named Greg, who works up at the council, and he
Wait, Greg Leach?
Yes.
Like the Scout executive?
Yeah,
Okay.
we occasionally shoot together in some handgun competitions, and he asked if I'd be interested in coming out to Camp Davy Crockett because they had someone who is they're going to be short for someone on the shooting staff for 2 weeks, and he asked if I could cover.
And you said, absolutely not.
And I said, yeah, I'll go do that for a couple of weeks. That sounds like fun because I grew up in scouting and enjoy scouting very much, and so I came out here and it was a lot of fun. And so then it worked out that I could just kept staying on. I came back the next year and came back again this year. So
Wait, so you covered what, 2 weeks in 2022?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, neither did I. And I was there.
I remember you.
I really no. So last year when they were telling me who was going to be the person that was teaching rifle,
You just didn't know I had a name.
Yeah, that's true. Well, they were like, "Yeah, it's, Jeff. He was here last year," and I was like, "Who?" And then he walked in, and I was like, "I still don't know who you are."
Well, also, Jeff is my least favorite name because it sounds very similar to Zeph. And so whenever anyone says it, I think it's me, and then it's not.
I thought your name was Zach.
Well, if it helps, a lot of people call me Olaf.
Oh, okay.
That's like my coffee and Chick-fil-A name because, Jeff is a very common name. So if you have that, written on, so that when they call you out at Chick-fil-A, we have an order for Jeff. Well, 6 people go up there, and I don't want to get in a fight over some chicken, but I'm going to get my chicken. So I just give him the name Olaf because there's not a lot of Olafs out there.
That's smart.
I like to just imagine there's 10 of them.
You accidentally walk into the Norwegian Chick-fil-A.
the Olaf convention at the Chick-fil-A. Oh man!
Well, that's cool. I'll call you Olaf from now on.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. I'll answer to it.
Yeah.
Make that my radio call sign too.
Oh yeah.
Because assistant shooting sports is just way too long.
It's a lot. Yeah.
Too much time.
I always like to try and eliminate all of the assistant call signs if I can.
Yeah.
And so Earl is the assistant chaplain / assistant commissioner, and his call sign is Deacon. I'm the assistant program, and my call sign is Squire.
Yeah, unless you're Mike, because he's called you everything but Squire. Yeah. He's called you Scribe.
Scribe, yeah.
He called you Squirt. And then at one point, I think he just called for Zeph.
Yeah, that's whatever. Do we have other assistants? Other than, well, we have assistant quartermaster. He's flyboy.
Yeah, flyboy.
Yeah.
And then the Rangers aren't Rangers.
Well, they have their own.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you should be Olaf or Snowman or something.
Yeah. Okay. So, Jeff, we're in the middle of our episode. So, before we ask.
Olaf.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Olaf. Before we're. Well, his name is actually Jerry.
What? Wait, is it really?
No.
I've been called that too, though.
You're just making me more confused.
But, anyways, so we're in the middle of our episode, which means it's time for the word of the day and the joke of the day before we continue on with our questions. So we're turning forward.
I have a word of the day, and it's probably a word most people haven't heard before.
Oh, boy.
Vinculum.
Vinculum.
And no, it is not an anatomical part. It is actually a mathematical term.
Oh, boy.
If I were to tell you there's a fine line between a numerator and a denominator, there is, and it's the vinculum.
Wait, that's what that's called? Is it not just called the fraction line?
No, it's a vinculum.
I'm pretty sure, like, in my fractions textbook, it was called a fraction line.
Oh, no.
Zeph just had, or Jeff just
that was not the official term for it.
Okay.
So, but there is a fine line between numerator and denominator, and only a fraction of the people out there will get that joke.
Oh, my goodness. What?
Although I do prefer decimal jokes, because they have a point in them.
My goodness.
Do you see how I worked the word of the day into the joke of the day?
Yeah. Tell them about that play you went to the other day.
Well, I took my wife to the theater, and we saw a performance that was all about puns. It was a play on words.
Oh my gosh.
He's got so many of these. And they're great.
I try and put a different kind of dad joke on the board every day in math class and try and have it be, math related or school related.
Why do we get a math teacher on it? What do
you take who you can get.
That is true.
What's funny is he would be a really bad stand-up comedian, but a really good sit-down comedian because
well, that's why we sit down on the podcast.
Because we'll be sitting somewhere and just not talking about anything that has to do with anything, and then he'll just drop a joke on you.
So what you're saying is we could just make the rest of the episode jokes of the day.
Yeah. But oh man,
they're hard to think up on demand. I have a list that I keep in my briefcase I take to school.
Oh, it's great stuff. But okay, well now we can move back to the questions now that we've done that. So we kind of talked about earlier in the episode of your years and position in scouting, and that's kind of what we talked about. But let's talk about your scouting history. So you said that you had been involved with scouts prior to camp.
Yes, I was a Cub Scout as a little guy and moved on to Webelos, got my aerial light, crossed over into Boy Scouts, and I started in a troop that I won't name. This is up in northern Minnesota. I grew up on the northern edge of Duluth. Yeah. So Minnesota.
Yeah, so the accent came out when you said that, but normally I would never know.
I've lost it. I've been gone a long time.
Except when you say the word.
Yeah, it's some old habits are hard to break. But the first troop I went in didn't follow the scouting rules and traditions well at all, and that's to put it kindly. And so I wound up leaving that troop, but I had some other friends in school who had another troop 53 out of Duluth, out of the Woodland area, and it was a great troop. And so when you're in there with your friends, you can help push each other. Yeah. And so I don't know that I would have gotten all the way through to Eagle if I hadn't had Sternard and Craig and Dale all there hanging out and helping with it too. It's actually his middle name, but when you have a cool middle name like that, you got to go with it, right?
Yes, yeah.
See, now that I know, I can't stop hearing the accent. I've never noticed it before, and now you're just talking. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's from Minnesota.
Like right out of the movie Fargo. But we had a great time in Scouts. I'll admit I wasn't the best scout. I was the scout you didn't like coming up to your merit badge class because he was a know-it-all and a smart aleck and always had something trying to be funny and wasn't really funny. You know the type.
I'm looking at him.
But I did learn a lot. And I didn't have a dad at home growing up. My parents divorced when I was very young. But then there was a lot of the adult leaders, the scoutmaster, assistant scoutmaster. They had a a very big impact on my life. And in fact, Sternard's dad, Mr. B, I'm still in contact with him. He's in his mid-90s now, I think, and I still talk to him pretty regular. And he had a huge impact on my life, both through scouting and through church, because we went to church together also. That was an important part of my life. And so now I kind of feel like I should be giving back also. Right. And scouting gives you that opportunity to volunteer and pitch in however and wherever you want. I mean, there's so many different aspects and facets to scouting that there's something for anyone to help out with.
Yeah, that's a really good advertisement for scouts.
Yeah.
But yeah,
if there's anyone listening to this podcast that isn't involved in scouts, I don't know how you got here, but you should really join scouts.
Yeah.
And one funny story, my dad, who wasn't a huge part of my life, but he did come up for my Eagle ceremony. He lived down in Georgia, which is a far bit from northern Minnesota.
Right.
And so as part of the Eagle ceremony, I gave him the little pin that said my son is an Eagle Scout and all that, and so he used to wear it on his suit coat. He was in sales, and he said several times he went into people's offices and they saw that pin and connected with it, and that helped him make that sale. And I'm not saying that because you can leverage that in a way like that, but people have a connection with scouting once they've been involved with scouting, and there's a network there that it's very easy to tap into. And if you need help, and there's another scout who's there, someone who's been involved with scouting, they're usually more than happy to help you, because that's the kind of the scouting spirit. That's the way scouts are built or are grown.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Little things like mowing your yards and different stuff like that, they'll be more than happy to help. But yeah, there's been times where I've been out and I've been like wearing a scout shirt or something, and somebody will be like stop me in a store, and there's hey, is that Camp David Crockett down there in Whitesburg? Like, yeah, who are you? And then you sit there in the middle of Walmart for 30 minutes and have a conversation.
Yeah. And I did it all the way through Eagle Scout, which I'm quite proud of. Kept that on my resume. Went to college for a little while, and then enlisted in the Air Force. Finished my degree, and I think and then I applied for officer training school to become an officer. And I think a big part of the reason I was accepted into that was the fact that I was an Eagle Scout. That's one way to really separate yourself from other people, that you can stick to something, that you can complete a task when assigned it. And that you're going to be a hard worker, and you have certain qualities,
Right.
Think of the Scout Oath and all that, right? I mean, those are the things that employers want.
That's true.
So, I mean, I don't know that I would have gotten my commission if it hadn't been for that.
Yeah.
So because I was unremarkable otherwise.
Well, at least you're humble. So what did you do for your Eagle Scout project?
There was a campground and nature trail that just got absolutely destroyed in I don't know if it was a windstorm or a tornado. So we went and we, with a lot of chainsaws and a lot of labor, cut it back so you could actually walk it again. Because you literally could not go through it. It was like a wall of just trees all mashed together.
Is a tornado just a big windstorm?
Tornadoes cause a huge windstorm, and that's what causes the damage.
Who knew?
So anyway, Mr. Olaf, what is your favorite campsite and your favorite shelter at Camp Davy Crockett?
I've never been here as a camper, so really my only involvement has been a couple times I've gone around to empty the trash. And I don't remember which one it was, but there were some that are a lot neater than others, and those are the ones I like. Not the ones that just toss their garbage willy-nilly into the enclosure that keeps the raccoons out of it, but the ones who actually put it in the trash can, in the enclosure, those are my favorite campsites.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I think it's a power thing, but gray squirrel has always been terrible with the trash.
Oh no!
I swear it's because they're the only campsite that has power, but something about it, they just always have. Like last week, the entire box, not just the trash can, the box that Jeff's talking about that keeps the raccoons out was full of trash. How do you even make that much trash in a week?
I don't know, but probably
not with electricity though.
Yeah, the electricity.
Well, but I think that it's just because something like. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
Or it's coincidence. But
no, it's not.
Okay. Well, if you're camping in Gray Squirrel,
clean your trash.
Here's some advice for you. Take the trash out. And there is a dumpster at the STEM Center, which is
10 feet away.
Yeah.
I swear.
there's actually a trail through the woods from Gray Squirrel straight to that dumpster.
Yeah.
So, yeah, do it. Keep clean up after yourself. And even if you're not in Gray Squirrel, don't think you're just like, oh, I'm camping in Beaver, so I don't have to. No. No matter what campsite you are, or what campground you are, or what country you are in, keep your trash clean.
We did. I don't know if Jeff. I don't know if they told Jeff when he did it, but we had a foreign exchange student from France come up and shot at rifle range today his first ever gun, and then he came over and shot his first ever shotgun, which was really cool. And so we got to experience, or he got to. I was there. But
I reminded myself of that at the same time as you when I said what country you're from. But the guy from France was here this week.
So that was really cool to get to be part of that. That's something he's never done before, and something that he was telling me that he would probably never get to do unless he was here.
He shot quite well, too.
Yeah, he really did.
Back to what we were talking about before, where he didn't have any bad habits established, and so he listened and shot great.
It was a natural. Should have been American.
I had one young guy, I think it was either this week or last week, it started clicking and he started shooting really well, and he's like, I can feel my inner American coming out.
We love France. France is cool.
Yeah. When scouts get up there and they start shooting well, they say some funny stuff. They get the confidence, and it's great. So, Jeff, if you could be any animal, what animal would you be?
I'd like to be a cow. They're just so peaceful, when you watch them walking around in a field, just chewing on grass. People are nice to them. Well, until they eat them. But they seem to live a really good life.
Yeah. What kind of cow? Would you want to be like a cow that's like a meat cow or like a dairy cow?
I think a dairy cow.
Yeah. I feel like that's a good way to live longer.
You don't want to be a bull in a bullfight.
Yeah, then you could own a China store. That'd be fun.
What is something that cheers you up on a bad day?
Something that cheers me up on a bad day. Well, my dog. I have a sweet dog. Well, my dog's actually a terrorist. Uses violence and threats of violence to get her way. But when she's not doing that, she's a very sweet dog.
Okay.
I have a wonderful wife who can always cheer me up.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I hear a rumor that's not a very good rumor because you tell us. But she makes inspirational cards.
She does.
And so, seems like a good way to cheer somebody up. It's an inspirational card.
Well, in fact, there's a staff member having a birthday next week, and I've asked her to make us a card so everybody in shooting sports can sign it and send it over. So I want to start doing that for more staff members.
Nah.
Well, the ones we like anyway.
Yeah.
Or the ones that have birthdays in the summer.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, during the off season we don't care. Okay. So I know that you're not a snack person or a candy person, and you also, I don't know, have ever been to the trading post.
But if you had,
but if you had, what would be your favorite trading post snack / candy?
I have no idea what they even sell for.
Yeah.
Snacks.
Well, just imagine that they sell.
What's your favorite candy in general?
They don't eat a lot of
candy. That's the problem.
Or your favorite snack?
Beef jerky. I like beef
jerky.
Oh,
man.
They do sell that at the trading.
Oh,
yeah,
excellent.
They do.
Okay.
It's not as good as Jeff's beef jerky, though.
That's venison jerky.
Yeah, but still, he makes, you could tell him.
Meat sticks and jerky.
And it's the best stuff ever.
But you make it yourself out of scratch.
Out of meat.
Or from scratch, out of, I don't know.
Well, sometimes I'll buy a spice kit. Sometimes I'll mix it together myself. I've done it both ways.
But it's really good. He brings it up, and then
we keep it in the fridge out at shooting sports. And
don't tell him that.
Oh,
we'll steal it.
It's under lock and key, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's under double lock and key.
And Charlie's in there protecting it.
According to national standard, it's under double lock and key.
Yeah. It's more important than the guns. Well, Mr. Jeff, what is your favorite class that you have taken and or taught at camp or Scouts in general?
I enjoyed teaching both the riflery and shotgun classes a lot, and it's hard to say which is my favorite. It all kind of depends on the character of the class. Different classes take on a different character. Some are really fun. None of them are bad, but some of them are more fun than others, just the attitudes that they have. And so you get a class with a great attitude, and that's what makes the class really fun.
Yeah. It's really weird. You can have a class full of 10 people and one have a really good attitude, and everybody just kind of acts the same. But if you have one that has a bad attitude, the entire class has a bad attitude. It's strange.
Yeah, and some names already came to mind from earlier this year, but we won't bring them up.
But
and the same ones probably came to your mind.
Yep. Well, just one. So
Jeff Stremel.
Yeah, that's exactly right. No. So what about a camp story? Do you have a favorite camp story from the past 3 years?
From the past 3 years?
Yep.
I was going to go back further.
Oh, okay. We'll go back further.
So we were like a poor troop, so we didn't go a lot of places. But growing up in northern Minnesota, Charles L. Summers' canoe base wasn't very far away, which everybody calls Northern Tier now. It took me a long time to realize that they were talking about the same place. That somewhere along the line, the name changed. I'm not sure when that happened, but we went up there one winter for winter camping and snowshoed and cross-country skied out and built our own shelter and slept in it overnight. And then in the morning, we wrecked it so no one else could use it because we didn't want anyone else to benefit from the fruits of our labor. Because it seems like everyone should have to make their own. So that was an experience I'll never forget.
Man.
Do you have...
So if you're in northern Minnesota, isn't like summer there basically winter here? Or like how what's the average like temperature?
It gets hot in the summer there because the days are so much longer. The sun is up longer, so 90s and 100 are not uncommon up there.
Wow, okay. How cold does it get though?
It's gotten pretty cold. Every year there'll be a couple of weeks that'll be minus 20.
Oh my gosh! Okay,
a couple of weeks.
Like that's the high?
No, it'll make it up into the low minus.
Okay. Oh man. Oh.
It's not that bad. It's a dry cold.
I don't even know if that's a good thing or not. When you said...
that was just like a play on, it's a dry heat.
When you said winter camping in Northern Tier, I was like, isn't that just
regular
camping? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to just sit at home in the winter, so you find fun things to do.
Well, yeah.
I like a lot of ice fishing. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool. Ice fishing. I hate fishing, but I might try ice fishing once.
I just imagine that northern Minnesota is just like made of ice year round. Yeah. Like it's all that's up there.
Yep, no grass, just snow. Yeah. Do you have any stories from the past 3 years from at camp?
Davy Crockett.
You could say no.
Not off the top of my mind immediately. Okay. If I think of one though, I'll just bust it out.
Yeah. Well, we have a question for you from our previous guest, Mr. Ethan Rose, and he asked, hold on, it was kind of a complicated question. Okay, he asked if you had to live in your favorite like book or movie or video game, would you survive?
That's a really good question.
For a good person too, because you read unlike most of our staff.
Well, I read a wide variety of things too. So from my favorite book, it has to be, or just from a book?
I think he said it too. I think he said it like the most recent one that you read or your favorite. He said both at some point. I don't remember which one was the official. Most
recent books I've been reading is Isaac Asimov's Foundation series, and it's spread out over 1,000 years. So like most of the characters die at some point and are not in it anymore.
Okay. So. But could you survive for 1 year in that world?
I think so. I have a wide variety of skills.
Okay.
I mean, that's another thing Boy Scouts does for you, right? They force you to take merit badge classes that you weren't really interested in, but you wind up learning something useful, right?
True.
That's kind of part of what the Boy Scouts is about.
It's a game with a purpose.
And the preparedness mindset will carry you through a lot.
That's true.
Absolutely. What about your favorite book or movie?
Well, I've had numerous favorites over the year. When I was a kid, My Side of the Mountain was my favorite, where the kid runs away to the mountains in New York, in the Catskills, and lives off the land. And I always thought I could do that.
That's basically just Boy Scout.
Yep.
Right.
The book. So
I think I'd be a lot skinnier than I am now if I did that. But
I thought his favorite book was going to be like the 4th edition of Algebra Basics.
Could you survive in the world of algebra?
Everybody can survive algebra.
Well,
I don't know. What if you were the X? Would you survive?
what was the line?
The vinculum.
The vinculum. Could you survive as a vinculum? I think that's what I'll call it from now on. The Olaf line.
If your equation gets solved, though, you disappear. Like, I don't know what happens. What happens to you?
Yeah. Is the vinculum always there?
Lurking beneath the surface.
Well, it's assumed integer is really just a fraction that balances, right?
Yeah, if you say so.
Like
3 is 3 divided by 1, so it's
always there.
It's always there in spirit. The spirit of the vinculum.
Well, this has been riveting.
So, okay, if you had to ask a question for you're going to ask a question for our next guest, what would that question be?
How would your life be different if you weren't involved in scouting?
That's a tough question.
Yeah.
So the way this works is you've got to answer your own question. So how would your life be different if you weren't involved with scouting?
I didn't give it that much thought, but it would certainly be different. I think my career path would have been on a lower trajectory without the skills that scouting helped me develop.
Yeah. Well, we already established that you were perfect in every other way. So.
That's a lie. You can ask my wife.
But yeah, I don't know. It would be different.
Yeah, I wouldn't be on this podcast.
Yeah, that's true. None of us would be here. I feel like I would be more of a jerk. I mean, I'm already a pretty big jerk, but I feel like I'd be more of a jerk.
Probably.
Maybe in prison.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, with Hayden and with both of us, but even more Hayden, he started younger than I did. But we've both been involved since before we were 10 years old.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I don't know. I hope to be old like Zeph one day. And back involved with scouting.
I used to take offense at that kind of thing, but I've realized, I guess I am kind of old.
Well,
there comes that time in teaching where, for a while you're like, well, I'm the same age as these kids' parents. And now I'm like closer to the age of their grandparents.
Yeah, well, 80's not that old.
Because I'm older than that.
But, okay.
Well, I've not yet reached the same age as the kids' parents yet, but before too long.
Yeah.
It'll be here before you know it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Life is like a roll of toilet paper. The closer you get to the end, the faster it spins.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have a thought of the day.
Chair creaky noises. Okay.
Yeah. But
or creaky
I
chair.
really need to start writing this stuff down.
You really do.
Because I always forget it.
Every episode, I tell you.
Because I'm focused on other things.
Was it about lobsters?
Sure. What is it?
I mean, I don't know. I was just throwing random stuff at you because it's always random.
Do you have a random thought of the day?
We could go with the toilet paper thing I just mentioned.
No.
Do you have a different random thought of the day? Something that's like a shower thought?
My thought of the day is that Hayden needs to use his paper and pencil more.
Nope. I don't know. The only thing that I can think of, which has nothing to do with anything, is that black pug should be easier to use.
Oh,
I don't know. I was just sitting here looking at the calendar. I was trying to put in requirements today, but I had to backdate some of the requirements, and I couldn't, and that was just trouble. But that's not a thought of the day because nobody knows what black pug is.
Well, yeah.
Well, would that be easier if you did things when you're supposed to and kept up with them? Maybe that should be your thought of the day.
All of our thoughts of the day are just roasting Hayden.
Hey, I'm just saying that Zeph and JD taught 2 of those classes, and so I kind of assumed that they would do it.
That was just Monday. We put Monday in.
Well, You have the paper.
Anyway,
Was I supposed to put something in for the golf I taught on Monday?
No, I put that in.
Okay, thank you.
if you're not on staff or you're not like a scoutmaster or something, you have no idea what we're talking about, it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's paperwork. It's boring.
Yeah, speaking of staff, we still have CIT positions for the next 3 weeks.
That's true.
So if you have been thinking about being a staff and you are 14 years of age, or even if you're older and just want to come down for a week to hang out, you got to pay for it.
And do stuff.
Yeah, and do stuff. Come down and CIT. Turn in an application online. It's like you just search up Camp Davy Crockett staff, and then on Google or Bing or Yahoo or any major searching platform.
You can well, I mean, I could just put the link in the description.
Yeah, you could, but that would not be
that would be too easy. I did put the link in the description of a previous episode on YouTube if you want to go back and find it, or just like send us a message or a comment or an email, and we can send you the link. Anyway, probably too late to do it for week 4 because when this comes out, it'll
be week 4. Yeah. But yeah, 5 and 6, and we don't do CITs for weekless.
Yeah, but or next year. If you're going to be 14 next year or 15 next year and you want to staff the whole summer, you can.
That's true.
We don't have an application for that yet, but I mean, again, just let it know. We can
be looking around mid-December. That's when the applications kind of come out. So.
Anyway, yeah.
Right. Any wise words, wisdom, or words of wisdom? Yep. For the listeners,
press on. A lot of races are won because you didn't quit.
Very good, succinct advice. I like it. Well, guys, make sure that you share this wonderful episode with all of your friends who love algebra, and maybe even the ones that don't. And leave a comment telling us what your favorite of Jeff's jokes was. I don't know. I went ahead and did the things that I normally don't say. They always say like, comment, and share and whatever. Yeah. Normally I just say subscribe. But subscribe too.
Yeah, you might as well just do it all.
Yeah, do all the things.
Yeah.
You know the things if you've watched YouTube videos before. True. You know what you're supposed to do. Just do it. Yeah. If you like us. If you like the video, press the like button. And if you didn't like the video, press the dislike button twice. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's been a great episode.
I do. You know where else it's been great?
What has been great?
It's been a great day to be a scout at Camp Davy Crockett.
Indeed.
More like Camp Davy fun.
Bye.
Are you going to leave that in?
Yes.
Camp Davy Chronicles. It's a podcast about